kids, welcome to Terry on Tuesday. Yes, I know it's been a long time since I did a video for you guys and gals and anyone else who happens to be watching. If you're new to the channel, and you may well be for reasons that I'll explain in a bit, this is my channel. Welcome! Basically, Terry on Tuesday, it used to be a regular thing. Every Tuesday I do a video about my life, stuff I'm making, what stuff I'm doing, things I'm up to, films, writing, funny stuff, anything basically. Of late, in fact since moving to this house 2 years ago, I've been very sporadic with the videos. I haven't had a lot of time to actually sit down and do stuff because I'm like everyone else, I'm trying to make ends meet. I'm doing so much stuff which I will tell you about. I've had to make notes just to catch you up on everything. Now, if you are new to the channel, you might recognize my voice, or you probably got here from listening to my voice on a YouTube channel called Marvelous Videos. They look like that. And in the last couple of months, I forget how long, maybe 3 or 4 months, I was hired by them to do a lot of voiceovers.
Morgoth, the Dark Lord from Lord of the Rings. Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Terry and this is Marvelous Videos.
And I have done quite a lot recently on the Rings of Power, Lord of the Rings, a couple of Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, and other things like, you know, cartoons. I did Dino Mutt and a number of other cartoons. In fact, I did 106 or I think 107 voiceovers for them. And it was good fun. It was nice to be hired by a company for regular voiceover work. But we have recently parted ways. Not that they've done anything wrong. And not that I've done anything wrong, really. But we kind of decided that the feedback I got was when I do my voiceovers for Marvelous Videos, I do talk a bit fast. And it's not intentional, but I, as you can probably see, I speak quite fast anyway. But when I'm reading a script, I probably go a little faster. When I record that, I do tend to, you know, do all the usual noise reduction and that kind of stuff. And I occasionally slow it down digitally, you know, by about 5%. So my voice doesn't go lower or slower. It just slows the actual sound wave down a little bit, which helps. Unfortunately, when some of these videos that they ask for are ridiculously long, you know, over, you know, the average I was doing was something like 8,000 words. It does take all day. I do a lot of editing afterwards because I tend to fluff lines, as you'll see while I'm talking. I tend to stutter or whatever, and things aren't said clearly or pronounced properly, and I have to go back and edit all those. And on top of that, being old as I am and having a life of spray paint, sanding, dust and fiberglass and stuff, my, see, I have a slight wheeze. So when I'm taking a breath in between sentences, you hear a loud like that. So I cut those out, or I take them really down in volume. So you've got to do every single one. And it does take a long time to edit. And to be honest, it got to the point where I thought, you know, my day job, as if you know me, my day job is illustrating. I do illustrate a lot of books for Candy Jar Books in Cardiff. I do flyers, character designs, sticker designs, t-shirt designs, all sorts of things for all sorts of people. And that takes up more than 8 hours a day. Now on top of that, if I've got to spend 5 or 6 hours doing voiceovers and editing them, like I say, which I was enjoying, even though I'm not a big fan of Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones. So doing long videos on that and trying to sound interested is, well, is tough to say the least. Anyway, some of the negative stuff I had on the videos is a lot of people thought that I was an AI voice, probably because I've got a sort of neutral English accent. A lot of people were calling me Terry the Bot, or Terry the Robot can't pronounce certain words. I remember doing a video about a character from the Thor universe called Beta Ray Bill. Now any Americans watching this will instantly go, it's Beta Ray Bill, because that's how you pronounce the word beta. In English, I mean, it's a Greek word anyway. In England, we pronounce it beta. The same as we pronounce Where is it? Where is it? I haven't got an example on me, but the metal, aluminium, okay? In the States, aluminum. Sorry, but if I'm going to do a video about a guy called Beta Ray Bill, I will say Beta Ray Bill because I'm English. I'm not going to say Beta Ray Bill. And I had trolls arguing with me, insisting that I say Beta Ray Bill. No, sorry. If you come over to the UK, start saying the word aluminium and sidewalk, pavement instead of sidewalk, and lift instead of elevator, then we can talk. Anyway, if you have come over from the Marvelous videos and you're curious to see, the guy behind the voice, this is me, hello. I don't just do narration, I was doing impressions of certain things. I'm not going to go into impressions right now, but I have in the past played Jack Sparrow in real life with the costume and all that malarkey for the last 11 years. Because I can do a good voice impersonation of him. You'll see that on some of my other videos. I'm going to do it now, I've got a sore throat. Anyway, the big catch-up. So yeah, this is me, this is my voice, welcome to my world. You will see I have a Groot in a pot on a car here, which we call the Grootmobile, and I'll be talking about that later on. But I'm just going to go through my notes here and talk about what's currently going on in my world, because you all need a big catch-up, right? Okay, so Offworld is a movie, my first feature film, that we started shooting in 2017 or 2016. It's last week we hit, on the 12th of October, we hit the final stage of saying, done, exporting the film. It had taken a lot of time. We shot the film in 6 days. If you don't count the interior spaceship stuff, which took a day, and another day of reshoots, we shot the majority, 90% of the film in 6 days, just up the road from my house. All outdoors location shoot, and again, the thing with a low budget film was Kickstarter funded. A low budget film, we ran out of money, lots of mistakes were made. It was pretty much everyone's first feature film. So many things went wrong, and at the time it was horrible, and we had a lot of stuff to fix. Lockdown got in the way, obviously. 2 years put the pause on everything. Like I say, you live and learn. Back then I was very despondent about the film because everything went wrong, and it just made me feel like I was just not cut out for this thing. But looking back at it now, it was a good learning curve. It taught me everything. It gave me a warning of things that could go wrong with money, location, time, sound, vision, effects, people, files, footage, you name it. And like I say, it's almost hard to believe that a couple of days ago, my co-producer and lead actress, Danny B, hit done on the export, because she's handling the export of the final files. So where do we go now? The film needs to be packed up and sent on a hard drive to the States, to a US distributor, where we sign agreements, and we see what happens there. It's not going to be in the theatres around the world, and it's if we're lucky, it'll get into some direct to DVD stuff or on some streaming channel. That'd be great. Like I say, no one's expecting to get rich off this, and again, although it's taken 6 years to get to this point, it doesn't mean we've got the next Star Wars epic, okay? It's a low budget film and always will be. But we're all reasonably chuffed with it, and the fact that everything went wrong and we still have a reasonably coherent film at the end of it, for a sci-fi drama, it's quite an achievement, to be done on a micro budget. Anyway, that's what's happening with that. By the way, big thanks and shout out if you're watching to Mark, who popped down last week, came over from Dublin, and he was one of the Kickstarter backers for Offworld, and he's been very supportive of us every step of the way. So I met him in Cardiff, and we went around a load of, basically showed him all of Cardiff, Doctor Who lots of Doctor Who locations, even though he's not a massive Doctor Who fan. But yeah, we did some shopping, we had lots of coffee and wandered around, had lots of chats, and it was a great day. And unfortunately, Danny couldn't make it to see him as well, but she was doing a shed load of work on the film to hit export. So it's because of that the the film is now finished. So, that was cool. Now, my next feature film, at one point I didn't think I was going to make any more films. I think I jumped in too quickly with a second film, and I had to take a year out and pause it and decide I didn't want to do it. But I came up with a third idea, and the third idea is Bloody Students. Bloody Students, if you don't already know, is a comedy horror very much in the mould of Shaun of the Dead, and it tells a story about a gang of students who get locked in a museum overnight and have to fight off a horde of reanimated Egyptian mummies. What's not to like? Currently, it's been a year since I announced this. It was actually Halloween last year. We're coming up to Halloween now. And in that time, I've written 5 drafts of the script, just about finished the 5th draft. We've cast all the main characters. Last week, we cast 2 more people. We cast a chap called Devonte Fleming, who is going to be playing the character of Cameron. And we also cast stealth cast. I think he's our 3rd creature performer, Leon Davis, also from Cardiff. So we've got 3 creature performers, very, very tall, thin guys who are going to be playing the mummies. We've got a 4th creature performer who's also playing the main pharaoh character. So that will involve like a mummy costume, but also prosthetics. So there are a couple more roles left. There will be some roles for extras, because a lot of people ask me how can they get in the film. And although it's not a film that has a lot of crowd scenes, we are going to need a handful of extras. And I say over time, I will be getting in touch with people who want to do that. And again, if you live 30 miles away and you want to be an extra, don't take it personally, but it's hard to cast an extra who says they'll turn up and then they don't turn up because they live 30 miles away. Things are tricky. We have to stay close to home and make sure people are reliable. Simple as that. These things do go wrong. Anyway, so Bloody Students, what's this say? So the roles we haven't cast are what I call grown-ups. Apart from the students, there will be roles for quote-unquote adults. And what I'm hoping to do is trying to get some cameos in from like British comedians, slightly more well-known names, which will help the cause of the film. If I say, for example, this is completely hypothetical. If I said Simon Pegg was going to be in the film, he's not. I wish he was. If you're watching, Simon, please be in the film. I'll find a role for you. But if I said, for example, Simon Pegg was going to be in this film, a lot more people would take notice of Bloody Students and more chance of it becoming a success. He's not, unfortunately, yet. Simon, please. But you see what I mean? If I can cast some slightly more well-known names, it doesn't matter if they're currently on telly or not the big thing, but if there's people who've heard of them from British sitcoms, that kind of stuff, I will reach out and try and message their management companies and see if we can cut a deal for a day's cameo here, a day's cameo there. It would be great to do that, to have a little bit of, British UK comedian or comic royalty turning up just for a tiny scene, so you go, oh wow, look at that guy, I remember him, how did he get in this film? What did they bribe him with? Excuse you what. So at the moment now we're looking at fundraising. The website, bloodystudents.co.uk, is there, and we currently raise all our money through PayPal or Ko-fi, which is ko-fi. I'll put the link here as well. So we're trying to raise as much as we possibly can, because this time round, I'm not expecting anyone to do anything for free. So we need to, at the very least, on a micro budget, low budget film, you've got to pay people for food. And on top of that, traveling expenses. And when it gets even further, then you've got to start paying people for their work. Crew work equally as hard as the cast, possibly more so, longer hours, etc. And I would like to do my best to get people paid. Again, nobody's going to get rich. I can't probably afford, unless something great happens, I don't think I can afford industry rates, as it were, but I still want people to feel they're working for, very hard for no money. I want them to at least have all their sort of expenses paid and maybe come home with a couple of quid, Anyway, so if you are interested in finding out more about Bloody Students, we've got a Facebook page, an Instagram, and a website, which is bloodystudents.co.uk, and that's my kind of blog where I keep my progress, and there's notes and all sorts of things on there, so you can see what's been going on. And this video is quite long. How long is it? 15 minutes. Oh, good. I'm not really editing much of this. Anyway, so that's what's happening on the film front. Let's talk a little bit about the Grootmobile. I'm going to drop a load of photos now because I didn't film myself making this thing. So if I can bring it to show you. So basically, oh hang on, let's just take him out the pot. This is our sort of baby Groot, teenage Groot, with his little remote control. You can see that there. Yeah, this is remote control, and he is made almost entirely of EVA foam. Some people call it funky foam. And there's a flower pot, and the flower pot is connected to a remote controlled car. Quite a cool suspension car. Now, next to me here is a little remote control car, which was the first car we bought off Amazon. I took the shell off and we mounted the Groot and onto the pot. And although this is, you know, pretty nippy, it's a small wheelbase and it tips over quite a lot. One of the main things about building this Groot, he's got to be light, and as you can see, this weighs practically nothing because it's EVA foam. And a lot of paint. So we bought a bigger car, as you can see, much bigger wheelbase, wider as well, better suspension. The suspension on this is quite wimpy, this is quite meaty. I'm hoping this will tip over a lot less. I mean, I can't guarantee it won't tip over at all, simply because of the height of the thing. We're looking at about 2 feet. So how did I make this chap? Ah, look, here we go. I just found a sliver of EVA foam, what they call funky foam. This is probably 2mm blue funky foam, and that's exactly what he's made of. Anyway, so I'm going to quickly talk and we'll drop some pictures in, okay? So, to start off with, I made the base and the main body of Groot, the support, out of 10mm EVA funky foam, which is this stuff. This is quite thick funky foam. I've got to stop saying funky foam. EVA foam. It's got a texture on one side. That's actually been painted, so it's not normally white. But it's a sort of 10mm thick. Easy to cut with a knife, easy to glue, etc. Easy to shape. So it's really good stuff. A lot of people make suits of armor. When you see Space Marines and, you know, there we go, look. That's good stuff, yeah. Very light, weighs practically nothing. Space Marines, Iron Man, that kind of thing. People make their armor out of this for conventions. So, once I've made the main base, I wrapped some wire through the shoulder area, some aluminium wire, which is quite bendy, flexible, and that formed the arms, and I used some smaller bits of wire to make the fingers. On top of the hands, I covered them in milliput, which is a modelling clay, a two-part modelling epoxy clay that hardens rock hard, and the entire body then I used foam and glue, mostly CA glue, super glue, or crazy glue if you're in the States, to bulk out the shape of the trunk and the shoulders and the head. The head itself was basically, you'll see it here, it's this black packing foam, sort of a plasticky polystyrene. Not exactly polystyrene, but it's that black foam. You'll see what it is that you get with, in fact, this came from my 3D printer box from a long time ago. So I just shaped it using a knife and a Dremel to sand it into roughly a sort of flat-topped ball. Wrapped it all in blue funky foam, EVA. Stuck on a few pieces for eyebrows, eyelids, etc., etc., and a lot of strips around the body, stuck on with super glue, CA glue. And then what I decided to do was give the whole thing a coat of filler. No more nails. It's not really a filler, it's more an adhesive. I'll just get some for you. So, oh yeah, this is just called instant nails. It's, you know, you use it for gluing things around the house. It's not some, I wouldn't trust it as a glue, but it's a kind of a filler type thing, this white stuff. And it dries pretty hard, and it's reasonably flexible, and it's cheap as hell. It's about £2 or whatever. And you can paint over it. it won't crack too much, it fills some gaps, and it dries with a matte finish. So it's not glossy like silicone, mastic sealant. It actually dries, with a matte finish. So it takes paint really well. And as you can see in the photos that have been popping up over my face and in the finished thing, it works really well. So it's inexpensive, reasonably quick to do. What I did then with the leftover bits of, I used some filler all around here, put this instant nail stuff all the way around the edges, and all the leftover bits of the aforementioned EVA foam, the blue stuff, where's that gone? I don't know. Here it is. I had loads of these left over, so I just snipped them up into random pieces, sprinkled them on and painted over them with the instant nails sealant, and it just makes a nice kind of fake grounding, etc. You'll also notice close up, there's a lot of black lines there. I scored with a blunt knife. I scored a load of lines on the foam to give it a bit of a texture and a sort of spiral in the head there. But I've also drawn black lines on with a very thin technical drawing pen, just to give it a bit more wood grain feel, and I think it works quite well. I found some, in fact a friend gave me some plastic plants which we needed for the little sprouts of new leaves coming off his elbows and his shoulders and stuff. Painted a lot of bright green. I was going to use wire and stuff, but I think I'll just paint the lines, the vines, etc. And made the remote control unit, which is separate. Again, out of a piece of this 10mm foam. As you can see, it's got the pattern on the back. It's a laptop key. The two joysticks are made out of cocktail stirrers, etc., etc. A little bit of silver paint on there for detailing, but it's just made out of a piece of that. Weighs nothing. So the gag is he is standing in his pot, which I also decided might be quite fun if we put some flames on the sides like it was a car. As you can see, he's leaning over too far at the moment. I need to balance him out. Got some flame stickers off Amazon, very cheap, either side. And currently the pot is held on by a rubber band, which goes completely round the car. But I'm going to probably think of a better way to do that. I did have to chop a square out of the bottom of the pot in order to pop this on. So what is the Grootmobile for? Well, you can follow Grootmobile on Instagram. Not my account, it's called I Am Grootmobile. I'll try and put that link here somewhere, or at least in the description below. And this is for a friend of mine whose daughter is cosplaying as Rocket Raccoon. And so the mother decided, hey, wouldn't it be cool if there was a Groot to go with her? So we thought, instead of having a person dressed up as a Groot, why don't we have baby Groot in a pot, driving themselves around on his car. I don't have batteries or the batteries charged up for this this thing yet. One thing is weird though, even though the car is really nice, it comes with a horrible, cheap double trigger thing. There's a trigger that way and a trigger that way, and a little steering wheel thing here, and a wobbly aerial. Very cheap and very nasty, whereas the slightly cheaper car, not much cheaper, but I would say cheaper in quality, comes with a really nice sort of console style controller for driving the car. How nice is that? Surely it should be the other way around. Anyway, that said, this is nearly finished now. I did promise my customer today that I would finish this today and maybe test it. But as I went out last night to a gig, I am not feeling too great. I can't get my head around doing anything too involved today. A little bit fuzzy, 2-day hangovers because I'm old, and as such, I don't want to attempt doing something that I might mess up. Oh my goodness, we're into 25 minutes. Sorry about that. I've got a few little things else to talk about. The gig I went to last night was the New Purple Celebration, which sounds like and is a tribute act, a tribute band that plays the music of Prince. They don't essentially try to be Prince, but the lead singer Jimmy is a short guy like me, under 6 foot, and plays the guitar really well and sings like Prince. So there's an 8-piece band. we're in Cardiff Tramshed. It was a great night until I discovered I lost my debit card on the floor. Asked all the staff couldn't be bothered. So bar staff said go and speak to security. Security said go and phone us tomorrow. So I've just cancelled my card and ordered a new one. Anyway, great show though. If you like the music of Prince and you want a good night out with all the hits and some more rare ones and some fillers and B-sides and stuff that you don't, that isn't always the chart stuff of Prince, some album tracks and stuff. It's all good stuff. Brilliant band. Second time I've seen them now, they're just getting better all the time. So that was cool. As the video is so long, I won't read the rest of my notes out, which could take another 20 minutes, but I will call it a day here. So thank you for watching. If it's your first time, please give us a quick thumbs up. Feel free to leave comments below. Obviously, troll comments, horrible people never get their comments published, so they never get to see the light of day, because that's how I roll. If you're interested in anything I do, there's links in the description, there's links on screen if you whiz back, and I will hopefully see you soon. I won't say next Tuesday, because I'm not always available on Tuesday, and as late I'm quite unreliable, but that is me, that is my world, that is what's happening so far. That's our catch-up, and I will see you all very soon. Take care now. Bye-bye then.